We, with our tradition and spirituality and all that, technology is only now coming after. So, spirituality is dangerous. That's what we do look at it as.
You know,
oh
every
God,
time
yes.
I posted, I had like so much anxiety.
These dopamine hits, like it's not healthy
yeah.
for us at all. Oh, what am I going to eat next? Oh, I need to go to my 9 to 5. Oh, I need to, Yeah. So people aren't really thinking, and I'm just like, everybody, wake up, wake up.
Hello and welcome to Get Off the Internet. So today's episode was actually filmed about 2 months ago when I was in Ghana, and I first had the idea for this podcast. It didn't even have a name at that point. But when I first met today's guest, we ended up having an amazing conversation about afrofuturism and YouTube, and we also exchanged our writing with each other. She sent me an afrofuturistic short story of hers called Nome, which is the Akan word for curse, and I was just blown away by her talent. Like, she does not hold back. Today's guest is Audrey OB. Audrey is a writer and content creator from Ghana. She is an alumnus of the Kane Prize Workshop for African Writers, as well as the HQ Amplify Fellowship for African Content Creators. She has also self-published 2 books, and she has her own non-profit organization called Inkit, which aims to promote literacy for young Ghanaians. And she's also currently attaining a master's in creative writing from Iowa University. So yeah, Audrey's accolades are insanely impressive, especially for someone so young. And it's such a joy to see a young Ghanaian writer fearlessly pursuing her passion. Please don't forget to support Audrey. I'm going to have a link to her socials down below. And yeah, please also don't forget to support this podcast by liking, commenting, subscribing, and rating and reviewing. Without further ado, here's my conversation with the lovely Audrey. I social media stalked you. I took the liberty to social media stalk you.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, hey, everyone does it, right? No?
I do.
You
I
don't?
mean, I don't know. Okay, I don't know if it's necessary. I guess. I guess it was necessary for you.
Okay,
because,
yeah.
we're about to have this conversation.
But don't you okay? At least when you first follow someone.
Oh, I mean, I need to check because I feel like without asking you, your pages might answer some questions for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, exactly. Or when you have a crush on someone, don't you?
Have I done?
Social media stalking?
I have.
You have, yeah. Anyway, yeah, so I was social media stalking and I was like, wait, what? She's self-published 2 books.
How much did you go and
find? Found it. Oh, I dug deep, okay?
Alright. Okay.
No, I read your bio on Instagram.
Oh, my link tree.
Yeah, so it's public.
Yeah,
I'm not that creepy. I'm fine, creepy, but I'm not that creepy.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
but that makes me nervous also because it's like if you've read that, then maybe you're expecting I have so much to say. Here. And what if I don't?
Well, I feel like what I have to ask you mostly about is your story. I feel like I'm going to butcher the name.
What story?
Nome?
Oh.
Okay.
Wait, where did you see that?
You sent it to me.
I did? Oh, right. Oh.
Audrey.
Okay. Yeah, because it's not out
to you?
anywhere. So I was like,
okay.
It's not. Okay, actually, it's published. I just haven't even received the book yet. And it's not really out.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I feel like as writers, being asked about stories we wrote, that's probably the easiest questioning, or?
Maybe, but okay, you see, I'm gonna try.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, so first of all, I would just like to hear what was your first memory of the internet, your first experience with the internet and all that jazz.
This probably wasn't my first experience with it, but then one of the foremost memories that comes to me is in my time when we were in JHS thereabouts.
So JHS, that's junior high school.
Yeah, that's junior high school. So I was how old was I? 12, 13, 14, yeah. Around that time, my generation, like we had these WhatsApp groups. I think it was WhatsApp. WhatsApp was there around that time, I think.
What year was it? Yeah.
Like 2014,
Yeah,
2012,
WhatsApp was
2014,
there. Yeah.
And we used to have all of these WhatsApp groups, and like it would be groups of popular kids or people who were trying to be popular, at least. From different schools, right? So you had like people from private schools, from elite schools, you had people from let's say some government schools and stuff, and we had all come together in these groups, and like everybody would write these long intros. So we used to have these, like you'd prepare your intro and like paste it somewhere in your notes.
An intro like this is who I
exactly. So it's like name this, nickname this, hobbies this, favorite color this, like all of those things. And it would be very long. It would be extremely long. So everybody had that kind of intro. So like you join a new group and everybody's like, oh, welcome, who are you? And then you post that intro. And it just seemed to be, I didn't quite like that time of my life. Okay, I mean, I liked it then, but looking back at it, I don't quite like it because a lot of it seemed to be like this quest or search for validation. Like everybody was just trying to be liked. Everybody just trying to appear cool and accepted to people.
Wait, so was this something that they were posting on social media, or you're just talking about like
this was just like just on the WhatsApp groups.
Okay,
mostly on the WhatsApp groups. At that time, like we didn't really we had Facebook. I think a lot of us were really on Facebook at that time, like posting pictures and things. I remember being on but then the WhatsApp groups thing was a really big thing, and like there were these. It was very classist, sorry.
Okay.
Classist, right? It was very classist as well, because like there were these groups that were only joined by, let's say, cool kids, and they'd put sometimes these rankings on the groups, like most beautiful girl, and then they would just rank you.
Oh my god.
It was and at that time, like you wanted to be on those lists, like you wanted. I think that's one really big memory like that I have of social media. But aside that, I think like I mentioned, Facebook too was a really big thing at the time. Like I just remember everybody just trying to be liked and appreciated by people, and I didn't like that. I don't like that time of my life now that I think about it, because I don't think that was really my true self. Like I was really just like putting up a front. Like a front to make everybody think that, oh, I'm this really cool and exciting person.
I feel like in high school we're all like in survival mode, and it can like bring out a very weird, confused side of yourself. Okay, so how did you find YouTube? Like, what led you to YouTube?
Okay, so that's fast forward a lot of years.
Okay.
That's because like what we're talking about was like me being around like 14. I hadn't even entered senior high school yet.
Okay.
So then fast forward YouTube. I think I started YouTube during the pandemic.
Oh, okay.
So that was what, 2020.
2020,
right? So I started YouTube in 2020, and I mostly did because I fell in love with YouTube. Like I remember you saying that you really love YouTube, and I was just thinking like this is how I really felt like some years back. I fell in love with YouTube because I just felt like, oh my god, look at YouTube. Like it's this big source of like YouTube is this big source of free information and so much art that everybody's creating, like, and you don't have to pay for it, like, and you just have this access to all of this beautiful stuff that everybody's creating independently. And I was like, I spent all of my days just watching YouTube, and I was really obsessed with the natural hair movement at the time. So I was even considering like, should I do a YouTube channel like with my natural hair? But then I fell into this web of like learning a lot about personal development, self-help, and financial, what do you call it?
Financial freedom.
Yeah, financial freedom and things like that. So I was like, you know what? Since I learning a lot about self-help, learning a lot about best financial practices and stuff, and since all of these people that I was watching were usually not African or not Ghanaian, I'm like, okay, then maybe I should do this version of what they're doing, but then make it better suited for Ghanaians, better suited for young people like me, better suited for Africans in general. So that's how I got into YouTube. So when I started YouTube, I was making a lot of videos like 10 principles about money you need to know, and what investments should you do in Ghana, things like that. And then I also started making like some videos about self-development, because I was really obsessed with like always trying to better myself.
Oh, I feel that. Oh my god.
Yes. So I was doing all of that, but I think now
there.
my approach to YouTube has kind of changed. But I guess maybe we could talk about that more later.
Yeah.
But that's how it started. I think it did help me, and it did help people at some points, because like people found out a lot about like sources of income and investments and things like that available to them in Ghana through my channel. So yeah, I'm glad I came across that.
And I find that your videos are very like insightful, and they have a lot of depth. They're very vulnerable in your videos. Like, you recently released a video that was like 1 year of
celebrating depression free.
Depression free.
Yes, that's what I mean by like my approach to YouTube has changed a bit now. I think when I started, I guess that's how it is with any kind of creative work anyway. When you start out, like, you kind of have an idea of what you want to do, but it takes a while to get there. Like, it takes a while to really figure out, like, oh, this is what I really want to be doing with this like crafts that I'm pursuing.
Right.
Yeah. So it just has kind of changed now, also because like I've been a storyteller for most of my life, right? Because I've only stuck to writing fiction, but it's only now that I'm realizing that I could like make videos that are a bit more creative and like leaning towards like a certain style of storytelling instead, like on my YouTube. So I stopped making the money videos, I stopped making those like self-help videos and stuff, and I just felt like, you know what, maybe I should just channel my gift of storytelling or my love for storytelling into the videos that I'm making. And so now most of my videos lean more towards sharing my personal experiences, being very vulnerable with people, and just like documenting my way of living, if that makes sense. Like documenting, let's say, the things that I'm doing, the lessons that I'm learning in life and things like that. And it's not the most YouTube success type of like way, because I feel like maybe if I was sticking to the other videos I used to make by now, I'd have made a YouTube break, because that's what most people do. But I felt like if I'm trying to tell stories with my crafts and be better at filmmaking and making videos, I'd rather do something that's a bit more meaningful to people. And it has been very impactful for me because like I've been able to find my voice, like with telling these stories, but most importantly, I've been able to use the videos that I'm making to help people feel understood and heard. Because sometimes people come to me and they're like, oh, I really like this video that you made. You were able to put this stuff into words that I couldn't.
I really felt like that about your most recent video. I was
like, the depression one or the life update? The life updates.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that like the life update one was the first of its kind that I've made.
Okay.
I'll probably try to make more of those. But
So I haven't been like really stable on any platform for like a very long time, but like also during 2020 I was making TikTok videos and like was kind of like going like a bit viral. I mean, like nothing compared to like all these big people. But like I'm curious because like even though it was like such a fun form of expression, I also found that it took such a mental toll on me. Like every time I posted, I had like so much anxiety. Like it was just like
so digital age. It's not natural.
Yeah, it's not natural. So like
actually.
So I wanted to hear from you. Like, is there a cost of like being like?
Oh my god, yes. Like I'm an extremely sensitive person. Like I'm a hypersensitive person. Like
same.
So I cannot be on a lot
because you make it look so easy.
Oh my god,
you make it look like so natural.
If you actually look at my YouTube, like it looks now that like I'm making a lot of videos. But I think the depression story that I dropped was it last month or so.
I think it's like around a month.
Yeah, it was the first I have put out this year, the entire year. I didn't.
Okay.
Wow. Like I had to take a break from it for a very long time because oh my god, it's very draining.
It is
so draining.
And like I feel like no one really talks about that. Like I feel like in general, no one really speaks about like the process behind posting on social media or creating.
It's extremely draining and like especially with the type of videos that I'm trying to make too, because like I'm really trying to be so raw and so open and vulnerable, and it takes so much energy from me to even be able to do that, right? And I'm now going to try and film it and then edit it, put it out there, see what people are going to say. Like it's a lot.
Yeah.
And so I just like, and in general with social media, with other things as well, like if you start to be a creator, you start to put things out on social media, now you find that you can't only be active on one platform. Like you have to try and be active on another platform.
Yes, that's the most draining part.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you're an artist, for example, like you just want to create your art and go.
Exactly.
But now you're an artist, if you're on social media, you have to be a dancer, you have to be a this, you have to be a this, or your work will be pushed out there. It's insane.
Easy.
There's a very big cost on our minds, on our mental health. I feel like this age is not going to go away. It's probably going to get worse and worse. So what has helped me, with managing it and trying to keep on top of it is just to know when to take breaks from it, because like these dopamine hits, like it's not healthy for us at all. So like I try to take breaks when I need to. I used to be very active on Twitter. Like I used to be a little activist on Twitter. Like I used to be very,
I feel like Twitter is so big in Ghana. Like actually I think the night we met, like we were at a party and like where everyone had met on Twitter. Yeah.
Twitter is really or maybe at least in the circles that you've been in.
Okay, maybe like the more like
I think the circles that
the outcasts.
Like a lot of people are very vocal on Twitter.
Okay,
for good reason anyway, because oh my god, this country, right?
For real, yeah.
But like even Twitter, I've been trying to I've been taking breaks from it now as well, because it's very draining, and like we just can't be having. Imagine being in a room and having like 1,000 people giving you their opinions like left and right everywhere, like from all directions. Like it's naturally isn't gonna work like in person. But that's the kind of stuff that we subject ourselves to when we're online. Like we're exposing ourselves to all of these opinions from everybody. We're exposing ourselves to all of these toxic thoughts and like emotions from everyone. It's insane.
Yeah, and like people would never say like what they write on social media to your face, you know. I feel like that kind of leads to like a question that I have about your short story Nome. Maybe you can like give a summary of what Nome is
that's
about.
So hard. I feel okay, fine. It's so hard to summarize.
I'm putting
you on
this
like
spot.
When I write something and you ask me to tell you about what I've written, I usually can't. I don't know. Yeah. But let's see, I'm gonna try. So Nome was one of my first attempts at African futurism, or like incorporating or writing stories through an African futuristic lens. So I wrote this story. Okay, so fun fact. Do you know about the Cape Prize?
Okay. Or no, yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so fun facts, like I was in the Cape Prize workshop last year.
Wow.
and this was the story that came out of the Cape Prize workshop. So it was a very intensive workshop. We were like in there for 1 to 2 weeks, and then we had to write like a perfect story on demand. And it was very
okay, I hope like, they didn't use those words.
Well, no, but then like it's the Cape Prize, so
okay,
you cannot slap, right?
Yeah.
So it's like in your mind, oh my god, I have to write like a worthy publishable story.
Yeah.
Within this 1 week, within this like 1.5 weeks, right? And so so this story was born after that. So it was very torturous to write, because like, it was not really because of the subject of the story, but just because of like the time and space within which we had to write it. Like I just questioned myself as a writer while I was writing it. Nome tells the story of this young girl who's like 14, 15. I don't think I really gave her an age. So she lives with her dad, and her mom is dead. Well, that's what the story says. So they live in a society where everybody has some type of superpower, right? Like Tumi. God, Tumi. Oh my god. Yes, everybody has a Tumi. Tumi, like in Chi, is like strength or power. So that's why it is. So everybody has a Tumi. Yeah. So her dad has a Tumi to be able to create any type of objects with the iron in his blood, right? And, and her mom, who she never met because her mom died when she was born, was also able to create things with her hair.
Dreads. Yeah. So cool.
So they live in a society where everybody has like some type of power everywhere you go except hair. Well, there's other people also in other universes anyway who also don't have superpowers, but they're very few, and so they're outcast. So she, because she doesn't have these powers, she's rather very interested in trying to find a way to use technology to simulate these God-given powers that other people have. So that's what she commits herself to. She's always learning, always trying to invent different things. And she has been able to establish her life in such a way that all of the different powers that people use to go about their daily lives, she has found like different pieces of technology that she has invented to do these things as well. So throughout the story, we just see this representation of a very narcissistic father who's always blaming her for their death.
I literally felt like I needed a therapy session after I don't know, experiencing her father.
Yeah, her dad was, oh my god, that was a demon. And so throughout her life, which hasn't even been that long, like he's just been guilting her and blaming her all the time for the death of the mom, because he keeps saying that like she would be alive if it wasn't for you because she died when you were born and all that. So the girl carries all of this guilt with her throughout her life, and coupled with the fact that she doesn't have a power, she just feels like she's the most cursed person on earth. And there's a lot of commentary also on God. I call God Unyankopon in the story. So here I'm first also exploring like the gender of God, for example, because this girl is always thinking like, if all of these people have powers, right? It's like if I see my dad who's a man and he has these powers, I see this woman who has these powers, I see this like non-binary person or like this gender bender person who has these powers. Like, it doesn't make sense to me why we call God only a man or we call God only he, when like if he has given these powers to everybody who is of a different gender, like you know what I mean? Right? So she's always questioning these things, and she's questioning the fact that God didn't make her well, because why has she given everybody these powers and then like didn't give her some of it. So she is curious about learning about her mom, because every time she asks her dad who her mom was, he always shuts down, right? So she tries to develop some type of technology, some type of chip technology, which when implanted into your brain can help you see into the life of a dead person. So she has been trying to find like some type of biodata that must have belonged to the mom, which she could use to invent the technology. And then she finds how do I say it? Like, throughout this search that she's embarking on, she comes to discover that her dad has been keeping oh god, this is so all over the place. So her dad always tells her the story of how her mom died, right? And so he's always
about that scene when she was a kid.
The birthday thing.
Like, oh my God.
So her dad tells her the story of how the mom died, and then he's like, we call, like, I named you a curse because that's what you are, because right when your mom died, she saw that you didn't have any power, and so she strangled herself with the umbilical cord. So that's the story that she has in her mind, like, oh my god, my mom killed herself. Like, am I so bad that my mom killed herself by strangling herself with the umbilical cord? So while she's doing this search for like some things that belong to her mom which she could use for the chip technology, she finds that her dad has been keeping the umbilical cord under his bed. So when he finds,
just casually, as you do,
when he finds that she has found it, he suddenly really freaks out, and like it becomes a whole thing. But then when she's able to create the chip technology, something goes wrong, because he abuses her, he throws her against the wall, her head hits the wall, and then like the chip dislodges in some parts of her brain. So it turns out that now she is her mom. So when she hits her head against the wall and the chip is dislodged, she's not only able to now just see into the mom's life as and when she wants, like her mom's consciousness takes over her without her control. With this story, I was just trying to explore like a little bit of Akan mythology with some of the things I was writing, and a bit of spirituality as well. I guess that's also,
it was kind of like magic realism.
Yeah, something like that. I don't really know what it is, honestly. It was, but I was just playing around with lots of these concepts, because I felt like sometimes a lot of stories that you want to tell can't really be told in like the limited realm of realism as we know it, right? There's some things that are better told like within worlds that are bigger than the world that we know, because some things are like more possible in those worlds. So that's what I was trying to do. But even though all of this was kind of speculative, most of the experiences that they still had were very human, because they were having this narcissistic father, which is a very human experience.
Exactly.
We're having this daughter who like was battling with her sense of self-worth and stuff, which is a very human experience. Death, a human experience, you know, all of that stuff. So it's one of the few African futuristic things I've written. I try to do that sometimes with my work. I'm still trying to figure out a way to do it that isn't like so performative, because I mean, like, one thing I've been noticing.
Excuse me, sir.
Hello. Hey.
It's very rude of you.
I mean, if you don't mind it in your audio, then we can continue.
Yeah,
it's cool.
It's nature.
These things. I've been trying to find a way to make it my own, not to make it too performative, because, you know, like, there's Afrofuturism, African futurism, and like now more than ever in a lot of media, I think that the West especially is really beginning to capitalize on like the beauty of African mythology, right? And we are seeing it in like the movies that they're making now and the stories that we're seeing published now. And like, it's great because I think right now, like, the beauty of African mythology and spirituality is being seen, like our tradition is being seen and all of that. But at the same time, like, it's a little capitalistic, right? So I think it is. And one thing that we should be careful of as storytellers, as writers, is that we don't like just try and jump on that train of, oh my god, this is what is hot now to do, right? And then write it in a certain style. Like, we should still be in touch with our culture, with our tradition, like how it really is, and be able to tell the stories that way. Because we've been doing it since we're children, like we're learning about Anansi and things like that. Exactly. It's not now that the West has picked up on it as a cool thing. Like, we've been doing this since the beginning of time, as we know it, right? So what am I saying?
How do you think that like technology, like what threat does technology have on us, like, kind of losing our culture? Because, like, as you said, in Nome, like, you had a lot of like kind of like homages to Akan culture, and it was a very important theme in the story. But like, do you feel like we risk kind of losing that because of technology?
I don't think so. I think also it depends on how we go about it, because technology is obviously not going to go away, right? Like, it's only going to evolve more and more. And to say that technology makes us risk losing all of this is kind of like, we might risk making it look like our culture, our traditions and things can't evolve along with the evolution of technology, which isn't what it is at all. Like, if anything at all, like, our culture is very dynamic. It grows with time, like with the times and stuff like that. So, like, maybe I can say even with the arts that we're writing and in our stories, like, we can very much incorporate both of them. And like, when I think about technology, I think about spirituality. They really seem like the same thing to me,
right?
Right? They really are. Because I think that's what I was trying to explore with this story, and I'm probably gonna do that a bit more. But it's like, in the story, for example, like, all of the things that they claimed were God-given, all of the powers that they claimed were so God-given, she was able to simulate them in the exact same way with technology. So it's like, we, with our tradition and spirituality and all of that, with all of the things that we know we are capable of doing because of the tradition and spirituality we have, like, technology is only now coming after to mirror these things.
Yeah, like, spirituality came first.
Spirituality came first. Like, all of the stuff that we already know, or maybe don't know, but should learn, because this is where we come from. Like, it already came first before all of this stuff did, right? So if anything, technology is only coming to complement it, or it's only coming to augment what we already know and already have, right? So it shouldn't really, I don't think it's a threat to us or to our heritage or anything like that.
It's so true what you say about them almost being like the same thing.
I think they really are the same.
I recently learned to drive, and like as part of the theory test, we had to, like, kind of learn a bit of how the car works, and like just when I was like just looking at certain parts of it, I was like, what, this is kind of like the intricacy
of the human
is just
body,
insane. And I feel like I actually thought like this is like the white man's witchcraft,
right?
It's like people always say that they don't have like spirituality and witchcraft, but like, yeah, that's their version of it.
And also, like, I think that like, we've always had folklore, like, in our music and like oral tradition, the stories that we're telling and things like that. And now we're seeing like our stories being retold in more like written English media and things like that. And I don't really know what to say to that. Like, it's nice to see, But I just really hope that we don't get lost in the capitalism of it. Like, I hope we don't get lost in cheapening this stuff that we have just because like we are trying to quantify its worth with money or with fame and things like that.
And it often feels like when like Hollywood or whatever kind of takes over these stories, they miss the mark on like the true essence of like who Africans are.
And it becomes this whole Wakanda thing. Like no hate,
no shade, but
no shade on or to Wakanda or anything. But it's not. Like I was about to cuss.
I mean,
like these things are like things that are serious to us. Like they're serious to us in its practice. Like these are our beliefs, these are our practices. Even if we now being so westernized, we don't practice them. Like these are things that our forefathers always like used. This was their way of life. And now it's being told in these stories and it's making it look like, oh, black power, African power. And like, let's not romanticize it.
Exactly.
It's nice to see, but it's not romantic at all. Like, spirituality is dangerous. That's what we should look at it as.
Speak on it. It's not all fun and games.
It's not all fun and games at all. We should look at it with a little bit of fear, please. The same way we look at like Western, like Christianity and spirituality, like with a little bit of fear. That's like, this is what we should be fearing. This is not what we should be romanticizing or anything.
Okay, so in Nume, you also kind of created like a new concept of time. So they had like 13 p.m. and what was it, like 20 something.
You really
PM.
remember that story? Yeah, I did. I think.
And then there was like a 40 something day of the month.
I hardly even remember those. I'm really glad you do.
Like,
but
so I want to know more about that. Like, were you inspired by something?
I think I was, because there's this principle of trying to, like, it's called world building. I don't know who I heard it from first, but I hate to say this, but like Harry Potter, for example, because like it was one of the biggest stories, or like our biggest introductions to this kind of stuff. Like there was a lot, the kind of world building there, right? Like creating this entire world which we are trying to do, which is different from which is different from life as we know it, or reality as we know it. So in that time, or in the setting of my story as well, like I just wanted to play around with the concept of time, in the sense that like time didn't have to be looked at the way we do now, even though like, and the way I wrote it wasn't even that different anyway. Maybe like in real time, let's say we're counting typically in seconds. Like in that one, we're counting in like a smaller division of seconds, for example.
So it's not that like time itself had changed. It was just like
time itself hadn't really
way
changed.
of measuring it.
Exactly. I think that's what I wanted to.
But like, is time even real?
Exactly. Like it can be told in a very like an entirely different, which is what I was trying to do in a story. Like time is just. It's not an illusion. Oh, so many years.
What else did I want to ask about? So because we were talking about like the concept of self-worth, I remember there was one part of the story where her dad like destroys all her creations, and she describes it as like the testimonies to her self-worth. And that line just like that hit me like that was too real for me.
I think what we
so like to what extent do you feel like that is the reality, that like especially as creatives, that like what we create amounts to our self-worth?
I think I remember the line with like all the he destroyed all the testimonials of myself, or something like that. I mean, because in the story, for example, like because of how he basically rained down on all of the stuff that she thought she might be worth, like the only thing that she found her worth or self-worth in was when she created these things, right? And I think when I wrote that, was really, that part was me. Honestly, when I see like when you're writing, like there's a little bit of you in anything
always,
you create.
It's impossible.
And that part of it was definitely, because for me, I think like I grew up because I started writing really really young, and I fortunately or unfortunately started getting like a lot of validation from other people because of the writing I was doing. So I just caught on to this high, and I never wanted to let go of it. So all of the other things that I felt like this was the only thing that's writing was the only thing that I could really place my sense of self-worth in. For the longest time. Now it has changed anyway. But then I
like
suppose
the thing that you find your self-worth in has changed, or
no. I think the way I view myself, like outside of the things I know how to do, like I accept myself as myself now. But then I think it happens to a lot of creatives anyway, because sometimes it might feel like your sole purpose as like a person that exists anyway is to create the things that you are creating, right? Which is a good thing to which is a good way to think about the work that you are doing. But then when it gets to the point where you are defining your self or your worth only by the stuff you create, it can get very dangerous, because like everybody's opinion is very subjective to themselves, right? So if you're always depending on like what other people think of your work and stuff, that means that like when somebody or a couple of people think your work is bad, you're gonna be thinking your work is bad, and in turn think that you yourself are not good enough.
Exactly.
And that's one really important thing that we have to learn as creatives. It took me a very long time to learn, and I'm really glad I've learned it now, that I'm just really trying to find inspiration and motivation within myself, although validation from outside of myself can be very nice. I'm not gonna lie. It can be really nice, but I'm not going to let that define like what I think of my work or anything, because nothing I create is wasted. Like nothing we ever create is wasted, right? Nothing we ever create is wasted. Even if there's one particular thing that we don't really like, it's hard to come out for you to create the next thing that you think is so amazing. If you weren't able to create that shitty thing in the first, it's like writing. Like you always have to write your first shitty draft. If you don't get your first shitty draft out, you can't get that good one out. Exactly. So nothing we ever write is wasted. I don't think that we should define ourselves by like, oh, this work is bad, so that means that I'm not good enough, or that kind of thing.
It's so sad though, because in a way that validation is like what leads to like our livelihood, like that validation is what allows us to make money and eat at the same time.
That's the crazy thing.
So it's this constant fight between like being authentic and kind of just like
playing
the game. Selling your soul.
I don't think I have any answer to that.
So I feel like that's just like the lifelong plight of the creative.
And I just like it's not a fault too. It's just the way the world has been engineered. Like we shouldn't have to work this much or do this much to get a means to live in the first place. Like if we had designed this whole system of like money and taking care of ourselves in a very different way, people would be able to pursue their arts more. Like they wouldn't be thinking of their art as like, oh, I need to like create this number of pieces so that I can get paid. Like art does not thrive in situations or environments like that.
Not at
right?
all.
I don't like I would hate for my art to become like a thing that is feeding me. Although it can be nice to say, oh, I only make videos like to make money. Like it can be nice to live off of your passion, but at the same time, if that becomes your source of livelihood, so that if I don't rise and I'm not eating, then it becomes a very big problem.
But then also, like, what's the alternative? Because for example, like I was working,
destroy capitalism, dismantle capitalism. That's the only one I can
eat the rich.
Eat the rich, eat the fucking rich.
Like I was working a 9-to-5 job for the past like year and a half, and like I just like didn't write like obviously you always say, oh yeah, find time to write on the weekend, this kind of thing, but like it
never happens.
So I feel like like what is
I don't know, but
guess,
this is really,
as you said,
this is really not how we're meant to
capitalism.
This is really not how we're meant to live at all. Like I just think like natural. This is my theory, but then I just think that's like the way it has been designed now. It has really been designed to make a lot of us forget like what we are here on earth to do. Because if everybody's going to a 9-to-5, everybody's only thinking about like how they're going to make money to eat they'll never have time, like you said, they'll never have the time or space to really create like the things that they want to create.
And the way that like the 9-to-5 jobs are built, it's like to give you like just enough energy to keep going like in that same system.
And so there are very few, I don't want to say 1%, but there are very few people who seem to have figured it out and stuff, are really balling. Like they're able to like create so many things for them. And the rest of us, like there's so many people that you see who are stuck at desks and stuff, but if you see the ideas that they have, if you see like the things that really set their soul on fire, the things that they really want to be pursuing that they can't for want of money and things like it will really shock you. I really don't know the way out of it, but like capitalism, oh my god, like we could have done this in an entirely different way. It makes me very sad to think
but what way? Because I also always think like that, but then at the same time I'm like, I don't even know, like
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. but it needs to change. I think like now we're in a stage of like late stage capitalism. So
it's going to fold
the end is near, and I don't know what's coming.
What's going to come after?
I don't know if I want to know, but
it's
coming.
Yeah, and then the state of human beings is not going to change even when the system changes. Like this thing is like this because there's some people who have had so much greed and have found a very good way to like finesse the rest of us or finesse everybody else. There's people like that are still always going to exist,
for sure.
You know, so I feel like even if we come up with like a different system or something like this is going to come about anyway. I just think people need to be a bit more aware of what's happening, because I think people aren't really aware. Like everybody's just very drowned in their, oh, what am I going to eat next? Oh, I need to go to my 9-to-5. Oh, I need to, you know. So people aren't really thinking and realizing that, oh my god, like I'm beginning to sound like, oh my god, this is the Matrix type, but let's escape the Matrix.
But is it not? I mean, I hear no lie.
I'm just like, everybody wake up,
for
please.
Real, yeah. Like,
wake up.
The Matrix, that movie was so ahead of its time. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, like this conversation is getting depressing.
No, I mean,
we're talking about technology and stuff. And oh my god, speaking of technology, AI, like
don't get me started. Don't get me.
Like I have been studying computer science for a couple of years.
Yes,
right? And it's been very interesting to see, because I've always been figuring out like I really loved studying computer science. Although some people felt like, oh, this is such a flight away from, you know, you being artsy and things like that. I didn't think so, because like in computer science you are still creating things. Like with all of the stuff, all of the courses that we're studying, on the things that we're doing, the mindset is that you are still trying to solve a problem, which is what art does as well. Like you're also thinking, how can I create this new thing, which is what art does as well. So like I find like there's a very sweet spot in which they like come together or like are alike in. But like when I started really thinking about the advent of AI, while it was like, oh my god, this is amazing, I was just also thinking, oh my god,
this is terrifying.
Oh my god, it's very terrifying.
We were talking about this the last time.
We were. It's very terrifying as well, because human beings are going to be human beings. Like AI is a very good thing, but somebody can take this thing and turn it into something very disastrous, which we're already seeing especially with visual artists, for example. And like people, like people are very ready, again, because of capitalism. Like everybody's trying to cut corners, like make it as cheap as possible. So, you know, instead of paying an artist who has devoted all of their life's work, all of their energy, all of their trauma to you know, be like a fully fledged artist, like instead of paying this person their worth for doing their work, you'd rather just, you know, go and generate some AI image with like 3 eyes and 4 legs. And I find it really sad, because like if the point of technology is so that it can take away the mundane things that we are wasting our times on, so that we can find time to do the things that we are really on earth for, like so that we can find the time and energy to create more, to relax more, to rest more, to appreciate nature more, appreciate art more. Like that is what AI should be for. That's what technology should be for. That's what the bots should be for. They should be doing the boring work that we're doing, but you are finding that rather it is doing the art, it is doing the writing. It's like and it's very sad to see. I hope it improves.
And I feel like we're just going into it like fully fledged, not considering what the consequences could be. Like, I don't know.
It's very terrifying, but
It
then
is.
like it's upon these things that's where, like we said, we're coming back to capitalism again. But it's upon these things that capitalism like thrives, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, bro. Escape the matrix.
Yeah, escape the matrix.
But yeah, I don't want to like only sound so like negative or hopeless about technology, because technology has also really come to help a lot of artists. Like I have this friend, Georgette Isiedu, and I've just seen the way her art has really grown. Like she's been like recently, like she's in Ghana, right?
Oh,
and
okay.
she's been oh god, I cannot process my thoughts, but yeah, for example, like she's in Ghana, like when she's been doing a lot of her art, it's been very beautiful to see. She's a digital artist.
Oh, okay.
And then
like
we're seeing
a graphic designer, or?
Well, that's how it started out, but then now she's been doing a lot more advanced stuff with NFTs and things like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's been very amazing to see. And like this is something that she was able to harness with the power of technology, right? And like I was saying, she's in Ghana, but then she had a virtual exhibition in New York, for example.
Oh,
was it a virtual exhibition?
Wait, what? A virtual exhibition? How
it was
does
either
that
a virtual
work?
exhibition or it was I did see there was a virtual exhibition.
Like
I think
with
there was
AI
an
goggles,
in-person.
or?
I think it was augmented reality.
Okay.
Stuff, yeah. Virtual reality and augmented reality, if I'm not too wrong. That was and I think there was even a physical exhibition as well. Like I'm just saying that technology has also really come to help artists.
Oh,
as
for
well,
sure,
right?
yeah. And even social media, like
social media has been
huge for artists.
Because YouTube, for example,
exactly,
YouTube has been amazing. And then even just with my writing, for example, like having social, because when I started, we didn't really have all of this stuff for me to. I mean, like when I started and I wrote my book like so many years ago, like the media that we had was TV. So the TV people would come.
How old were you when you wrote your book?
14. So like TV people would come, like I do all these TV interviews, radio interviews, newspaper spreads and things.
Really?
It was a whole thing.
Damn.
It was a whole thing. But then that's really how it was before. But then now I'm able to like put my work out there. Like I have my landing. Like it's so easy to put yourself out there now. And that can be
also
scary.
So saturated.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, that can be very scary as well. Because like everybody's trying to prove themselves on the internet, and there's so many opinions and things like that. But like it is also a very big playground for us, right? So I think like every artist should. It can be very scary to put yourself out there, but it's a very big playground for all of us. And there's an abundance of like success for all of us, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, if anything, technology has given us a very good like. What's the word? Stepping stone or launch pad or whatever that is.
But then I'm like always finding the negative part of things. But then I also feel like, does that come at a cost? Like for example, like sharing poetry on Instagram. For a long time, I was like sharing my poetry on Instagram, and it just feels very like you're having to kind of just like cut out pretty phrases and like, you know, post them, and it's like, is that really still poetry? Is that real art, or is it just like trying to fit the algorithm?
I get you. I think like me too. Maybe when it comes a little to art, I'm a little bit of a snob.
Okay.
Which is probably not a good thing, but like I just feel like I probably how do I say it? You know, they say art is art, whichever form it takes and stuff. But then genuinely, I sometimes really feel like I'm a very traditional type of like creative.
Okay.
Right? Like if I'm writing, sometimes I find it so hard to just put it out there, like share it on a blog or something like this. I feel like, oh, this is kind of cheapening my art.
Oh, okay. So you only share it with like publications.
Yeah, I don't know if it's probably not a great thing, but I'm a little
That's
traditional.
so interesting, because I always thought of it as like posting your art on social media is kind of like a test run, and then you see the feedback that you get, and then you send it to the publisher. But I honestly love that. Like,
but then even now, like it's not even a test run type of thing anymore. Like this is where people are.
Okay, that's true. Yeah, that's like where the publishers are finding them.
That's where the end has been.
That's true.
People aren't really trying to go like that publication route anymore. which is what I'm still really sticking to. Probably too traditional for me, but it's what I like. Maybe I should open my mind a little bit, but for now, I'm just stuck
it seems to be working for you, like with all the fellowships and whatnot.
Okay, so that in there. All right.
Yeah. Are you ready for rapid fire questions?
Hey, okay. What are those?
Okay,
what are we going to be asking?
Oh, don't worry, it'll be easy. The best thing that technology has given me is
my YouTube channel and the opportunity to connect to people through my YouTube.
The worst thing that technology has given me is
predators.
Oh no. Sorry.
Yeah, well, that's the truth. Yeah. It's okay.
If I could choose a to me superpower, what would it be? A technological superpower.
Like any kind of spiritual power. So
yeah.
Oh, this probably sounds lame, but like to have like full command over myself.
Wow, I felt that.
Yeah, I do not.
Wow,
but
then would life be too easy? Would it make everything too easy?
I mean, like it would lessen a lot of my pain that I'm feeling right
that's
now.
So true. I want that too. Can I steal yours? If I could upload one thing or message to the collective unconscious of the world, what would it be?
Accept yourself, like flaws and all, and listen to yourself, listen to your intuition, because this is the thing I learned: man is the first book. Like all of the answers that you're looking for are within yourself.
Amen,
but you need to listen to yourself. Yeah.
Would you like to promote yourself?
Promote myself?
Yes. Where can we find you?
Okay. So I guess my fiction writing first. Maybe you could link it in if there's like
sure, like in the show notes. Yeah.
My link tree. So my link tree has most of my published work, and you know, like where you can find maybe where you can buy like some things that have been published in. And on my YouTube alias is Audrey OB. So on there I make a lot of nice videos, honestly, about...
They're very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Sometimes they can be sad, but, you know, I talk a lot about mental health. I talk about, like, life, unorthodox living. And, yeah, there's a lot more to come on my YouTube, so check out my YouTube. And I guess you could also link my socials in the description.
I'll link it all, yeah.
Yeah, that's it, I think.
All right.
Unless I'm selling myself shorts, but anyway.
You are, but it's okay. I'll fix it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Nice.
Thank you so much for your time, for your insights, and for your writing.
And thank you for reading the story so thoroughly.
No, but like...
Because I do not know the story that much.
Really?
I don't.
No, like, honestly, like, the way your mind works is, like, so beautiful. Especially, like, the scent of rain. I told you that it literally teared up.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I love that story.
Thank you for your art.
Thank you.
Yeah. The best thing that technology has given me is...
my YouTube channel and the opportunity to connect to people through my YouTube.
The worst thing that technology has given me is...
predators.
Oh no. Sorry.
Yeah, well, that's the truth. Yeah. It's okay.
If I could choose a to me superpower, what would it be? A technological superpower.
Like any kind of spiritual power. So
yeah.
Oh, this probably sounds lame, but like to have like full command over myself.
Wow, I felt that.
Yeah, I do not.
Wow, but then would life be too easy? Would it make everything too easy?
I mean, like it would lessen a lot of my pain that I'm feeling right
that's
now.
So true. I want that too. Can I steal yours? If I could upload one thing or message to the collective unconscious of the world, what would it be?
Accept yourself, like flaws and all, and listen to yourself, listen to your intuition, because this is the thing I learned: man is the first book. Like all of the answers that you're looking for are within yourself.
Amen,
but you need to listen to yourself. Yeah.
Would you like to promote yourself?
Promote myself?
Yes. Where can we find you?
Okay. So I guess my fiction writing first. Maybe you could link it in if there's like
sure, like in the show notes. Yeah.
My link tree. So my link tree has most of my published work, and you know, like where you can find maybe where you can buy like some things that have been published in. And on my YouTube alias is Audrey OB. So on there I make a lot of nice videos, honestly, about...
They're very nice.
Yeah.
They're very nice.
Sometimes they can be sad, but, I talk a lot about mental health. I talk about, like, life, unorthodox living. And, yeah, there's a lot more to come on my YouTube, so check out my YouTube. And I guess you could also link my socials in the description.
I'll link it all, yeah.
Yeah, that's it, I think.
All right.
Unless I'm selling myself shorts, but anyway.
You are, but it's okay. I'll fix it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Nice.
Thank you so much for your time and for your insights and for your writing.
And thank you for reading the story so thoroughly.
No, but like...
Because I do not know the story that much.
Really?
I don't.
No, like, honestly, like, the way your mind works is, like, so beautiful. Especially, like, the scent of rain. I told you that it literally teared up.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I love that story.
Thank you for your art. So, thank you for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Audrey. Once again, please don't forget to support her. It'll all be linked down below. Also, don't forget to support this podcast. And let me know in the comments. What would your special kind of technological futuristic power be? Okay, thanks for watching.